have two sides telling yes, and one side telling me no, so I'm not 100%. So I can't really verify what
Because as neat as it looks, I don't want spy box in my house. As neat as it looks, I don't want the spy box in my house.
I don't really. Most of the information is kept on the actual Xbox. But none of it's getting sent out.
No, but somebody's look. I know, but it's like somebody's watching you. Nobody likes having their house bugged.
Hey guys, it's Mike here. You must forgive me, I've been up all night just doing stuff, editing and other little bits and pieces. I'm working on my site at the moment, michaelburhan.com. That's going to be released soon, but that's not why you're here. You're here to listen to me rant about Microsoft's bad practices, and to be fair, they've really made a doozy with this one. Now let me just go on about this very quickly, because it's something that really annoys me. It irks me. I think anybody in the industry of gaming, I think gaming journalism in general has sunk to the lowest levels known to man, because the majority of game journalists now decide that they want to, rather than give an objective opinion, they want to actually promote the shit out of a product. It's fine if that product's good. Yeah. Now, you guys know about the whole Dorito Gate incident, and then, you know, the whole Silent Hill HD collection issue with IGN, and then the whole Killer Instinct debacle with that as well, which, to be fair, was no part anything to blame on Microsoft. Now, you're probably asking yourselves, okay, so what has Microsoft done this time? Well, it's a funny situation, really, because I've been watching a couple of videos on YouTube. As always, I'm subscribed to Angry Joe. The Angry Joe Show's YouTube channel. You can check the link at the bottom there and subscribe yourselves if you like. Now, by no way, no part, I consider him a journalist, because if he was a journalist, then truthfully he'd probably be a douchebag who's sitting there in a chair and eating a bag of Doritos while trying to get you to level up for a game. He's more of a gamer. He's one of those guys who would go out there, who'll review games, who'll talk to you about his likes and dislikes in terms of his games, and generally put up a laugh. Now, he did a bit of coverage of E3. He's posting his videos at the moment, and he had one interview up with Major Nelson from Microsoft. Now, he's had loads of these interviews. Major Nelson's done interviews with Reddit. He's done interviews with several different gaming sites. I think he's even done an interview with Tobuscus. I don't know, because I don't really tend to watch much of Tobuscus anymore. And the whole thing during this interview, you know, Joe was a little upset about the way that this interview was conducted, and he felt that a lot of it was due to him and the way that he conducted himself in this interview. Now, I've got something to say to you, Joe. If you watch this video, I doubt that you will. It had nothing to do with you. Now, I can understand the fact you were shit scared because you looked it. I don't know if it was in part of the fact that Major Nelson was a big figure in your eyes, or that it was a huge interview, or the fact that you were getting pressured by the PR person who was there. The fact is, as well, your YouTube channel gets more hits than a television network. That's the truth. It's seen worldwide. It's seen by more countries. It's seen over here in the UK. It's not confined to the stateside. It's it's got UK audiences, Singapore, China, you name it. The rest of the world, where it's not restricted, that channel is actually seen by everybody. So, you know, in terms of the fact that you're a big name in the game industry, you are. Just don't let that go to your head, okay? But to clarify the second thing, the way you were treated in this video was extremely bad. Now, you had Major Nelson. Every time Joe tried to ask a question in terms of the DRM and the fact that the stuff that you guys asked that I would ask, he would get a nasty look from Nelson and a nasty look from the PR person who was trying to rush him and rush him and rush him to not, so he couldn't get anything factual out of this. They've been running around backpedaling in terms of this whole DRM thing. At first they were like, had this whole hashtag no DRM. Then they said no, it's the developers. Now Joe brought up a good point, a very valid point, stating that one of the developers who's developing for the Microsoft console, I've forgot the name. If you guys can remember what the name was, let me know. But they've got a whole stance on DRM, which is we don't care about DRM. You know, we want everybody to access our games. We don't mind you guys buying pre-owned. We're not anti-pre-owned. Now, as Microsoft have stated, if the developer chooses, and this was in a previous statement, they said if the developer chooses, those pre-owned games can be sold. Right? Because they're saying if a developer states that you're not allowed to purchase a pre-owned game of their game, you're not, you know, that Microsoft will do whatever they can to lock that game out of the system. Now, he stated, well, if they've said that they don't want their game as part of this system and they want to actually, for you to play the pre-owned game, can you still play it? Now, instead, Nelson got a bit antsy about this, stated that he didn't understand the question at first and then got kind of aggressive with it. And the thing that annoys me is that this dude is clearly scared shitless, and instead of making him comfortable, instead of talking to him like a person, you're treating him like he's one of these morons out there on the internet who have no understanding of what you guys are doing. Well, the fact is, if you gave us a clear, concise truth about your console, then maybe people will be more inclined to buy it. That's a factor in it. And he tried to ask more questions, and they kept rushing him to the point where he was literally getting shooed off stage. And Nelson was like, "Oh, good job, I like what you do, blah, blah, blah." Obviously, he doesn't like Joe because of the fact that every single question Joe asked, he was kind of fobbed off. Questions about Steam and the fact that Steam had lower rating games and they had deals. Would Microsoft be doing the same thing? Clear and concise, Nelson went no, and then started criticising Joe for even asking that question. It's bullshit like this that really makes me think that Microsoft need to fire their PR agency or start to get their egos and check them out the fucking door, because journalism isn't about people catering to your needs. It's about providing an objective opinion. So you need to let gamers know exactly what they're getting in for, what that's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and if things are going to be done right, or if they're going to be done right by. We're in a society at the moment that is suffering. We're suffering financially, and also we're suffering economically. So things like this are big issues because people need to find out if they're getting screwed over or not. Microsoft have yet to give a clear, concise explanation, even though there have been loads of guys on Reddit, like people who are fans of the console, who are trying to justify what's been going on. Now, this doesn't pay you guys any favour, Microsoft. It doesn't give you any broad appeal. It doesn't make things seem positive for you at all. Now, if Nelson got off his high horse and actually talked to Joe respectfully, and in turn answered his questions or stated, "Look, I can't answer your questions because we don't know." If you said we don't know, then that's fine. But instead, he was borderline abusive in my opinion, and I just think it was ridiculous the way he was handled, and it made him feel this small. And as I said, Joe, you did nothing wrong. You're great at what you do. Just keep providing an objective opinion. You're not basically sitting there catering towards anybody else's needs. You're trying to help and provide basically you're trying to provide fans with not just an opinion, but with the truth, which is not happening at the moment. Now, there's been another thing where I've just got to get the name of the executive, Don Mattrick. Now, there's a clip been going around the internet, and it's part of GameTrailers.com, and he's being interviewed by the same douchebag who was part of the Dorito Gate. His name escapes me because I pay no mind to him, because he lacks any journalistic credibility in my mind. And he was explaining about the whole constant internet connectivity of the Xbox One, and stating that if you don't like it, if you can't connect to the internet, well, the best thing to do is buy an Xbox 360. Yeah. So basically what's happening here, you're telling people to buy a 360, a console that you're probably going to end up not providing support for in the next 2-3 years, and tell them to lump it. Now, I can understand from a perspective that a lot of your first-party Microsoft titles are going to be released on both the 360 and the Xbox One. But you are not giving people a choice at all. And it's ridiculous. And by saying that, you're insulting people's intelligence. You really are. Now, that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that any person who attempts to post this video on their YouTube channel will get it deleted and get copyright claims and copyright strikes put on their account by Microsoft. So it's bad publicity that Microsoft don't want anybody else to get their hands on or comment on, because they feel that people are basically giving them negative press. It's not everyone else who's giving you guys negative press, Microsoft. It's yourselves. Seriously. I have never seen PR handled so badly in terms of a console in my life. Right? Yes, we can say the PS3 was pretty similar in that in vein, but it wasn't this bad. I don't know what else to say about this. It's ridiculous. You're stopping people's freedom of speech, firstly. So you're not allowing people to speak on a matter or use your footage in terms of their videos. Right? Then you're filing copyright claims in an attempt to shut people's channels. What is going through your minds? Now let's move on to the third thing that happened. Well, about a week ago now, but I'm using it as part of my story this week because of the fact that footage has been aired over the internet over this of an individual representing Microsoft. He was wearing a Microsoft t-shirt, he had a backpack on, joining the queues at Best Buy, and talking people out of buying a Wii U. And this was during Nintendo's event with Best Buy that was happening during E3. To say that this is bad taste is, well, completely and utterly obvious, but it's heinous. Completely and utterly heinous. Nintendo have made a deal with Best Buy to do this. You don't see Nintendo raiding the Microsoft events at E3 while they were having their playable demos going on. Nobody from Nintendo appeared. Nintendo wanted to stay out of this situation between Microsoft and Sony, and they did a good job doing so. And by kicking a company while they're down is not the best idea, especially to try and promote your own console. Now, it's been alleged, and I say alleged because there's no official statement released yet by Microsoft alluding to the fact if this guy was actually a Microsoft employee or not, but it's been alleged that this person was going rogue. It's the funniest story I've ever heard. I doubt Microsoft employees would go rogue in order to promote their products elsewhere. But as far as I'm concerned, it's extremely bad. It's beyond bad. It's bad taste. Now, the fact that this individual did this and went to an attempt to promote Microsoft's own brand is nothing new. They've done it before. When Sony was promoting their PS3, when that was released, I believe it was here in London, they had a boat party for it. Microsoft decided to hire their own boat out with a big banner there saying Xbox 360 loves you. And the fact is, it's a tactic, it's a marketing ploy, but you don't need to do it, okay? If you believe your console will sell on its own merit, then promote that fucking console, sell it on its own merits. Now, by doing stuff like this shows that your console lacks merit. You know but for a fact that you're in trouble. If you know that you're in trouble, maybe you need to sit there and think, you know what? Maybe the practices that we're actually pertaining to are bad. Maybe we need to sit there and think, maybe we should take DRM off the console. Maybe we should take constant internet connectivity off the console. Maybe we should patch connect and leave it as an option for people to have if they want to purchase it with the console. You know, it boggles the mind. If you really want your fan base to purchase your stuff, be truthful with them. Talk to them. Communicate with people. You know, do a Q&A session. If there is a problem with your console, if there is a problem with the fact that people are not going to buy this console, then talk to people. Because everything you've done so far has really got under people's skin. Now, with that being said, I want to say something out there to all those people who are purchasing this Xbox One. It's up to you. Stop complaining. Stop whining about people who don't want to purchase it, because in the end, that's our choice. No one's going to change my mind on this. No one's going to change my opinion on this. If Microsoft keep doing what they're doing, they're probably going to end up making me just see red and not even purchasing the console, even if things do change. I've got an Xbox 360 sitting in my room right at this moment in time. I have my Microsoft controllers. I have Microsoft Power Systems. My laptop is a Microsoft Windows 7 system. Don't do such a stupid move and have your people crash these parties, or show utter disdain to journalists who want to ask you what the hell's going on, because you need to answer these questions. You need to give a clear-cut perspective of why you are doing this, and at the moment you haven't. You've just given people more venom, more anger to direct at yourselves because they're not sure what the hell is going on. That's what happens when people get confused. They get scared. When they get scared, they get angry. And that's pretty much it from me. And that's probably going to be the end of the whole Microsoft debate in terms of my feelings, you know, in regards to the Xbox One. Anything else that I'm going to promote is just going to be positive, because as far as I'm concerned, I can't sit there and go through this again and again, especially repeating myself on this matter. I think the Xbox One is clearly a great console, but it's a console that doesn't need all these hoops to jump through in order to get the thing working. I think their practices, their terms of DRM, in use of software, in use of technology, and to manipulate just so they could get rid of piracy, which is what they're trying to do in the first place, is ridiculous. Excuse me. And that's pretty much it. You know, it's... I'm going to buy a PS4. I'm going to end up leaving the brand behind me, because the PS4 does look great. There were a ton of games on the Xbox One that I really would love to play, but that's not going to happen anymore. In terms of anybody else, as I said, if you don't like my opinion, if you don't like the opinion of the next guy who doesn't like the way that Microsoft are dealing with this, or are handling themselves in this situation, don't whine, don't complain, don't swear at them. Think about why they're angry. Think about why I'm angry. I'm angry because I love the system. I love Microsoft. I love their console, and it's, you know, I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about the fact that I love gaming to an extent that I could sit there and I could state an opinion. I could stand on my soapbox and say this is wrong, because it is. Let's hype Microsoft. You don't get yourself in the news for anything else. And take my advice. Fire that PR company. Get rid of them. Don't speak about them again. And start battling all the negative publicity by getting positive publicity out there. You know, get yourselves showing off the unique features of the console. Get yourselves talking about how this console is going to help in terms of gaming. Cloud-based gaming is fine and dandy, but you can still give people the option to do it or not. You know, that's why OnLive went out of business in the first place, because they couldn't do cloud gaming, because the fact that the company wasn't actually making the money that it was supposed to out of cloud gaming, because people didn't want anything to do with it. Simple as. Anyway, that's enough from me. If you want to check out more articles, and if you want to check out my wrestling vlog, that'll be posted this week. And I'm probably going to be doing a political one as well. We'll see. And I've got a new show coming called This Job for Hire, so make sure you like, comment, subscribe, guys, and stay tuned to this channel. I've also got a competition going on for till the end of the week. All you have to do is like, comment, subscribe, and you know, it's a chance to win Namco goodies. So I'm going to be doing another competition after that, the week after, for another little nifty thing, but we'll see. So that's it. So I'll see you then.